So when I headed out on my hike today, my plan was to go to a spot at the north end of Susie Lake in the Blue Mountain Birch Cove Lakes Wilderness area. A place that I go to, well, it's been about a year since I've been there, but when I got there, the black flies were so bad that I decided to keep going. May as well. I thought maybe they would calm down in the middle of the afternoon a little bit, and I could just go further until I found a place without flies. Well, that didn't happen. In fact, I think the further I got into the wilderness, the worse the flies got. I'm not sure if you can see them around my face right now in the shadow, but you will in a minute. I even have DEET bug spray on all over my face. Of course, I did put that on about an hour ago. So I'm 2.5 hours into the wilderness. I'm a long ways in, let's put it that way. It's been quite a hike. I'm quite tired and I'm ready to have some lunch. But I decided to stop at a place that I wanted to share with you because it just amazes me. There was an old homestead here 80, 100 years ago maybe. The only thing left of this homestead is the chimney. And that's it. Now, people have used it as camping spots before because it does offer a little bit of cleared level ground. So this is where I'm going to sit down and have some lunch. But there's no evidence whatsoever of the cabin, of even how they got back here. Any trails that they must have made back then are long gone. So I'll reposition the camera, I'll give you a little bit of a view of it, and then we'll sit down and make some lunch. Whew. Okay, I figured maybe I'm out of the shade of the trees. Maybe the black flies will leave me alone. No, I'm still being eaten alive. Well, there's nothing. There's no foundation. A couple of blocks here and there that may have been blocks where logs laid on at one time as opposed to a complete cement foundation. Yeah, one there and one there. So likely that was the case. I don't think it had a full foundation floor, likely like most cabins of the day. And this one would be ahead of the game, a little bit more advanced. It would have either a rock foundation or piled rocks where the sill logs would go on top of. Because we're right on bedrock here. The granite rock is just right half an inch under the surface of the moss right here. And that's what's left. This huge chimney. I'm not sure if it's clear enough to have a little fire inside or not. I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just set up on the ground here to have my lunch. It's not a fire. It's another barbecue because, once again, we're under a provincial daytime fire ban, and all I'm allowed to use is alcohol, white gas, propane or butane, and charcoal. I can make do. I got a great lunch to share with you. So take me a few minutes to set up my day camp here, and then we'll start lunch. All right, I know you can't see everything that I'm going to be doing from this angle, so I'll reposition the camera when I go to start cooking. I just wanted to show you what it is that I was going to be doing here today. First off, yes, I have my little chair, my little collapsible McKinley chair that I talked about in another video. It doesn't come out often because, of course, it adds weight to the pack, but comfort, I'm appreciating more and more. So this is great to be able to sit in this chair here. So what I've done is I'm using the UCO mini fire pit and grill, and I may wish I brought the bigger one. We'll see, but it's perfect for using with charcoal, which is permitted during a fire ban. Even so, what I did is I went over to that fireplace that's here at the site, and there's a few of the loose fire bricks, or I don't even know if they're fire bricks. I guess they're just cement bricks, old school cement bricks, and I could pull 3 of them out. Well, not 3, they were laying there. I didn't have to disassemble a chimney, and I brought them over, so I've got the barbecue sitting on top of that, and I'm going to get the barbecue going in a minute, but let me tell you what it is that we'll be doing for lunch. So this is going to be a little different, so you can probably guess from the title, but I'll just explain anyway. Since everything is barbecue, I thought, why not stay with a barbecue theme? Oof, fly right up my nose. So we are going to be barbecuing some back bacon, nice thick slices of locally made back bacon, quite a nice smoky smell. It's fairly lean, but there's some good fat in there because you want that, of course. And find it down here. Oh, there they are, right there in front of me. Eggs. I've got 2 eggs here, and I'm actually going to barbecue these directly on the grill. And I've done that before, and as long as you don't get them too hot, they don't explode. And contrary to what you see, you don't have to poke a hole in them or anything else. Just keep the heat reasonably moderate and keep rotating them on the grill. And 10-15 minutes, you'll have hard boiled or hard eggs. You know, the yolk will be hard. Take them off a little sooner if you like them golden. Either plunk them in some water to cool them down, or just set them aside and let them cool down on their own, either way. So we're going to add eggs. So actually is barbecued eggs. Oh, and the third item is sitting right there in front of me. This is a rutabaga. The funny thing is, we call them turnips here. It's not a turnip. It is actually a rutabaga. I have heard that other people call them neeps, N-E-E-P-S. Let me know what you call them in your part of the world, but we call this a turnip, even though it is, in fact, a rutabaga. And the reason I brought this along is because since I'm on a ketogenic diet now, losing weight and feeling great, I'm going to substitute potato fries and use these. I'm going to cut this up into small little chunks. I'll parboil them a little bit just to make it a little easier in the fry pan, but they work great. Now, I won't say they're identical to potatoes. They're not. They're their own thing. But they are very, very good, especially once you get, you know, all the spices on them and everything else, and you get them nice and crispied up in the fry pan. So that's what I'm going to do. As long as the flies don't carry it away, that's my plan. So first things first, let's get the fire started. All right, let's get the little barbecue going. I said fire, but not a fire at all, is it? It's a barbecue. But in order to get the charcoal lit, I do need some type of flame in the bottom of the pit. And I'm still using some of that wood wool. I'm not sure I need all of this, but we'll light it up anyway, because the faster it gets going, the faster the charcoal gets going. And I'll start to arrange charcoal all around it. Build a little pile. It's big. I'm using chunk charcoal today, my preferred charcoal. Natural charcoal burns hot, clean. So it's exactly what you want for this type of cooking. And do this first because, of course, it takes a little bit of time for the charcoal to get engaged. But as soon as I can, I'm going to put my water on. And I just realized there's a benefit here. A little bit of smoke to get going, probably too much. Yeah, there we go. That's better. But there's a benefit. Guess what the smoke's going to do? At least hopefully, drive away some of these black flies. All right, that's enough charcoal for now. Hands off, clean them off here. Get on to the next stage. So I won't show you everything that I'm doing, of course, but I will start out by showing you how I'm prepping for my lunch. So while the charcoal gets engaged, I'll get a knife out, which I want to share with you anyway, and start cutting up and peeling my rutabaga. Let me see if I can give you a little bit better look at that. So one of my recent videos, I was using a small knife. I didn't think to share with you what it was, but it's been a while since. I don't think I've ever shown this on video before. It's just something I picked up a number of years ago, and it's known as the Ken Warner utility knife. Ken Warner being the designer of this knife. It's just a small convex ground blade, full flat or with a convex edge on it. Micarta handles, plastic knock Kydex little sheath for it. Sometimes I'll carry it with a lanyard around my neck as a neck knife because it works well like that. But it's ideal for putting in my pack as my kitchen knife. So I've got to, I'm not going to eat, I'm not eating that whole rutabaga obviously, but by the time I finish I will have eaten, or at least maybe half of it. I think to start this though, I'm going to cut it with my larger knife, my belt knife, cut it in half. Yeah, right. Oh, that should do it. There's what I'm going to be having. Yep. All right, now put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. So as I sit here and peel this rutabaga, I just want to mention something. I'm not going to have all of this on video, obviously, but somebody asked me in a comment after my last video. I had made coffee with the AeroPress, and I had popped the puck of grounds directly into my firebox stove to be consumed in the by the charcoal and the heat. And they called me out and said, "Why didn't you throw it on the earth? It's organic, it's compost, it's good for the earth." And I understand where the person was coming from. This is not meant to be critical of them, but I'll share with you my reply and what I say to people who make that comment to me. It doesn't belong in the woods. At home, yes, that's exactly what I do. All our coffee grounds go into compost. But in the woods, they go into a bag and I take them home. Unless I have an open fire or something I can dispose of them in that'll burn them up. It's a leave no trace principle, and it's based on the fact that if you brought it into the woods, then take it home. What didn't originate in the woods, then it doesn't belong in the woods. So coffee grounds, peelings like these, they didn't originate here, they don't belong here, because they, contrary to what you think, animals may or may not eat them, but it alters their diet. It introduces organisms into their diet that doesn't belong, and it can make them sick, and that's true of the earth as well. This does not belong in the woods, so I do pack it out, and I make an effort to do that. So yeah, that's the reason why. It's not meant to be a criticism of anybody who thinks otherwise, but there's a lot of misinformation about leaving things in the woods, peelings, apple peelings, cores. You know, one of the worst ones is orange peels and banana peels, but orange peels specifically, they do not compost. They do not dry or rot. They dry up hard because they are so full of oils that they just don't rot. So they will last in the woods for years, and that's just not right. It's like any other garbage. So don't toss your food into the woods. I won't say I've never done it, but you know, I try my best now to take everything out that I possibly can, everything that I brought in any case. So these peelings will be going out of the woods with me. All right, so my next job now is to cut this up into fries, or not fries, but you know, small chunks like camp fries would be, so I can get them on to boil, just over a little parboil. Don't have to do it this way. I can put them directly in the fry pan. It just makes the frying a little quicker. All right, that's my next step. Okay, a lot of the charcoal is nicely engaged. I'm going to push it all to more or less to one side. That's hot. Ooh, this stuff, it does get hot. I left this much of it empty of charcoal because that's where I want to put my eggs so they don't get a direct too much heat all at once. Let's see if I can get the barbecue grill on. I have not done a review of the UCO fire pit and grill. Oh, the charcoal is not low enough. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. I will. I have two of them. I actually have the mini, which is great for packing most of the time, and I have the regular size, which is at least twice the size of this. So I will do reviews on them. I have my mixed thoughts. You know, the idea is that it's not just a barbecue pit. It is also a wood stove, or it's a barbecue grill and fire pit. It works great for a barbecue, not so great for a fire pit, but we'll talk more about that at a later time. So what I'm going to do is put my kettle on, which is also a pot, get a couple little woods floaties in there. So there are the Rutabaga fries, plus a little bit of moss. It doesn't need to go in. They'll be fine by the time I get them parboiled. It takes a little while anyway. You know, there's nothing about this that's a rush. And I'm in no rush anyway. Not going anywhere. So why am I choosing to do this rather than potatoes? Because this is a low-carb alternative to potatoes. Still very healthy, and just low carbohydrate goes well with the 2 eggs and back bacon that I'll be using. And tastes great. I mean, that's what it's all about. I'm enjoying the meal. All right, now, where's my eggs? Putting the eggs on. Like I said, you don't have to worry about your eggs exploding if you don't get them too hot too fast. You can see that I can actually, although I'm feeling the heat, you know, I can hold my hand here for maybe 7 or 8 seconds. So that's not bad. Now, the trick is to rotate them. So I have my tongs made from the the titanium fork and spoon and the little PEX piping on the end for springiness. And with that, I'll just be able to rotate these eggs every minute or two or every so often. And once I think they're ready or close to it, I'll take them off. They'll probably continue to cook a little bit. And then I can put the fry pan on, because at that point, they should be ready as well. Takes time, so I'm not going to make you sit here and watch water boil, but I will bring it back when it does. All right, so I got to be perfectly honest. I kind of lost track of time. I don't know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. I think the eggs have got to be done by now. I'm going to take them off, just put them in my pie plate. No cracks, a little dirty from the grills, but that's okay. But these have been simmering for a little time. I'm going to drain them, and while I'm draining them, where are my gloves? While I'm draining them, I'll start heating up the fry pan. Things are a little hot around the barbecue right now. Nice thing about it being a kettle is there's a spout for draining. Makes it so easy, right? I'll just drain those onto the ground behind me here. And while I'm doing that, we'll get the fry pan going. Start heating up some olive oil. Don't be shy. Carbon steel pans love olive oil. Oop, I think I lost some of my rutabaga fries on the ground. I'm going to have to work to pick those up. All right, that oil got hot fast. Actually starting to smoke, but that's okay. So it took me a minute. I broke away, guys, to pick up my fries that hit the ground. Listen to this. Yeah, they're hot. That won't take too long to cook. Where is my spatula? I've got to sit down sometime and take the time to carve myself a nice wooden spatula. Right now I've got this nice folding little aluminum one. So I wanted to make sure that I did not overcook the potatoes in the kettle. They, as long as you don't let them go to mush, they work just fine. It's surprising. Much better than potatoes. Potatoes, if I had simmered them that long, probably would be mushy in the fry pan here. But these are not. These are doing very well. But they need some spices. Where's my spice kit? All right. So what kind of spices do you put on fries? Well, that's Old Bay, herbs, a little bit of salt is always good. Start with some salt. I'm looking for it, there it is. Spicy Montreal steak spice. I use it all. And garlic. Let me know if you've ever made rutabaga fries before, or turnip, or whatever else you want to call them. It's something I hadn't even heard of until I started on the ketogenic diet. Now it's one of my favorites. Oh yeah, see, they're even starting to crisp up now. Oop, lost one. And yes, I will pick that up. Actually, I'll do it right now with my tongs because it's hot. Get over here. There we go. Right back in. So once again, I won't make you watch me fry my fries, but when they're close to being done, that's when, of course, I'm going to be putting the bacon on, and that's when we'll come back. Yeah, they look good. My rutabaga fries all cooked up. Some nice browning on them. I'm just going to leave them right in the fry pan to stay warm. Take that off. Get some bacon on while I still got some charcoal left. So the back bacon does not take too long to cook, fortunately. Let's hear it. Yeah, sizzle, yeah. And it smells wonderful. There's nothing like a locally made back bacon for the nice smokiness of it. So all I have to do is just wait a few more minutes for this to crisp up. Just a little bit. And then we're ready to eat. Well, I'm thinking that's done. A little piece came off. That's my taster piece. Oh, yeah. Nice and grilled. I'm going to put them right in my plate. And just to get the most out of this heat from the charcoal, put my kettle right back on so that I can have it for my lunch. Okay, I'll reposition the camera and I'll show you the completed meal. And I think we should have a little discussion about the future of my channel. So this looks like a huge meal. Man, that's hot. I need my bandana. This looks like a huge meal, and it is going to be a filling meal, but believe it or not, because it's a ketogenic meal and it's relatively low on carbs, that Rutabaga has a fraction of the carbohydrates that a potato does. This is actually not as bad a meal, or as big a calorie meal as you might think. I'm going to have to tilt the fry pan down. I haven't cracked the eggs out of their shells yet, but I want you to see that when I do. But let me just show you what I've got so far. Am I in frame? There we go. All right. Back bacon, Rutabaga fries, 2 hard-boiled eggs. Living life large in the middle of the wilderness. Let me take that up just a tiny bit more. And since it is hot, I'll put it on my glove on my leg. Try the fries. A little spicy. If you have not tried Rutabaga fries, even if you're not on a ketogenic diet, you owe yourself to doing it. I may have put on a touch too much spicy Montreal steak spice. No, I take that back. They're perfect. Man. Okay. My little utility knife. Check the bacon out. Okay, this is gotta be one of the best meals I've had in the wilderness, and I don't know how long. It just feels like a real camp meal. Smoky back bacon, spicy fries, hard-boiled eggs, cooked over a charcoal barbecue, and I'll have a cup of coffee to follow in a little while. What more can you ask for? Man, that's good. Okay. Oh, by the way, somebody asked me, the plate that I'm using is a small aluminum plate that I picked up at Value Village, of all places. Flies are starting to gain their courage back. And they asked me, they said they were afraid to use their knife on a plate for fear of dulling the edge of the knife. Fair comment, right? I would prefer to have a nice Kopilka platter that's made from the wood resin combination just for that reason. A good hard plastic plate. But not having either of those, not wanting to pay for a Kopilka platter, maybe someday. This $2 aluminum plate has served me just fine. Because it's aluminum, it is softer than the metal of my knife, which is an 10CR17, so it's a Chinese steel, but it's a hard carbon. And I actually love this. It maintains an edge for a long period of time. In any case, I'm not so worried about dulling my knife on the plate, and I don't press so hard. And I'm not afraid to take a few minutes to sharpen my knife up. I bring the edges back every time I go home if I've used my knives at all anyway. Easier to keep a knife sharp than it is to sharpen a dull knife. You've heard me say that before, I'm sure. I'm not the only person that says that as well. So what did I want to talk about my channel today? Well, I'll make it brief, but it's an invitation to you to tell me your thoughts on where my channel has been lately, where you think I should go. One of my viewers commented on my last hike video that was the type of video that they subscribed to see. It wasn't about all my product reviews and flashlights and stoves and everything else, but it was about me getting out in the woods and doing this and what I love. Fair enough. My channel philosophy has always been to share with you my knowledge around the bushcraft and the outdoors. And by bushcraft, I mean specifically wilderness living skills. Skills of what resources are available to me, to you, in the woods, especially the woods in my area, and how to make use of those resources. I tend to focus on plants that are either edible or medicinal, and I will continue to do that. I very much enjoy that. I know not everybody enjoys that, but I do, and I know some people do, so that's one of the things I like to do. I will continue to craft things from the resources I have at hand. I have a walking stick video in the queue. It's just not quite finished yet. It needs some more editing, and I'll be sharing that with you soon because people have asked about my walking sticks. But somewhere early in my YouTube career, I started playing with wood stoves, just small wood stoves. And one of the first ones I tried or made, and that's what got me started, was the Winterwell Little Nomad, I think it is. I'll have to be sure. But it's a common, well-known design, and I think it is the genesis for the Emberlet. And I'll put a picture in on the screen, and at some time I'll bring my homemade one out to show you as well. But that started me in the world of small wood stoves, and I now have companies contacting me, offering to send me things, and I just enjoy it. I hope you do too. Let me know if you do want me to continue showing you wood stoves. What else? I do have a few more review videos, but when I do a review, one thing you can be assured of is that it will be honest and upright. There will be no, not wanting to bite the hand that feeds you. I've got something right now that I'm testing. I was thinking about doing the review today. I think I'll hold off. That it's not it is what they claim it to be, but it's not worth the money they're asking for it. Let's put it that way. But you'll see that in a future video. One thing people have asked, and I just have not done, is overnight videos out in the woods, like this. This is an ideal spot. A couple things I'm looking for. One is flat ground. Maybe I'm spoiled, and maybe I'm just getting old, and the arthritis prevents me from enjoying myself. If I can't lie flat on the ground, if I can't get a comfortable sleep, then I don't see the point. I mean, I car camp all the time with my wife all summer long, and I do so with a fold-out cot. So that provides me the comfort there. I do have some air mattresses, and that's what I'm going to do. I was going to come out with just a tarp. I'm thinking now it's going to be a tent because of these black flies. And that's the only reason. I do have a screen house, a little tarp, what they call a bug bivvy, I guess. I could try that as well. So I will be doing some of those because I think I'm missing something. It's not that I'm looking for more views. It's just, why come out for just the day when you can stay the night and appreciate what it is to be out in the woods in the night, especially in the morning? As people know, the morning seems to be the best time of the day in the woods. Okay. I think what I'd like to do is just ask you, what do you think? What would you like to see me do on this channel? Continue doing the occasional product review, continue doing stove reviews, more skills, more plant identifications, overnights, meals, whatever it is that you would like me to do, just let me know in the comment section below. Okay, my lunch is getting cold. I want to show you what the egg looks like inside, so I'll bring you back when I go to crack the eggs. And then, of course, it should be time back for coffee by then. Okay, here's one of the hard-boiled eggs. And my plate is just down between my feet here, so I can put the shells there, but let's crack the eggshells with the spoon. See a little bit of brown on the inner skin. If you leave them in one place too long, they're gonna, it's not burnt, it's just, you know, crispied up, a little browned on the inside. I'll show you in a second, as soon as I can get all the shell off. And this one, usually I don't have this issue getting the shell off. It comes off just as easy. Now, had I dropped them into cold water to cool, as opposed to just leaving them set out, the shell would have come off a lot easier than this. But part of what I wanted to show you is don't be afraid to put your eggs near the heat for fear of them exploding like so often you see people talking about on the videos. Yes, if you put it near an open fire and they get too hot too fast and there's no relief valve or a little hole at the top, they will explode, there's no question. But if you do it slow enough, some of my egg got stuck to the shells and I couldn't quite save it all. But you can see there's a little bit of browning around the outside. Well, let me just, there's the yolk. Oh, does that look like a hard-boiled egg? A barbecued or grilled egg. Gotta find my spice kit, put a little bit of salt and pepper on them maybe, but I'll enjoy those, then it's coffee time. So I'm going to using the GSI Ultralight pour over and a nice enameled mug my wife gave me at Christmas. I don't think this has come out to the woods with me before. Just share with you again, today's coffee is from Rampage Coffee, but a different one this time, not the regular blend I usually bring out. This one is their C4 blend, and I'll put a link to Rampage in the video description. The C4 is their caffeine enriched. They don't actually add caffeine. It's the choice of beans and how they're roasted. But the Rampage claims that it has 3 times the caffeine of regular coffee, and also is a medium blend at the same time. So that's what I just ground up. I'm going to put in my pour over. It's a lighter roast. There we go. All came out. Then what I usually drink, and I think I'll need a glove for that. A little bit of water to pre-soak the coffee and just let it set for a second. Kind of swells the coffee up so that the water doesn't go through too fast. Some of the water is obviously running through into my cup right now, but by doing it this way I get a bit of a bloom, which means that the carbon dioxide is being released from the coffee. You can actually see bubbles rising to the surface when you do that. And it's not that that affects the flavor of the coffee. Well, indirectly it does. The problem with the bloom is that it can cause your water to miss or create pockets inside of the coffee, so not all the coffee gets soaked with the water. So that's why you just take your time. That's the whole thing about a pour over. It's not a rush. It takes a little longer. It's not that it takes longer, it's just that it's a little bit more labor to do this. You just don't put the coffee in the water and let it sit and then press it down like a French press. You don't do the same thing as you would with an AeroPress. This requires you a little bit of patience and a little bit of just adding water. So much at a time, and it pours through. So once again, I won't make you watch the slow process of Mark making coffee, but once it has poured through, we'll have a few final comments on today's video. You know, the only problem with hiking 2.5, 3 hours into the woods is you got to hike 2.5, 3 hours to get out of the woods. And it's 4 o'clock. It's not going to be dark, but it's going to be later than I anticipated before I get out of the woods today. But that's fine. I can't beat this. This is further than I've gone in a couple of years. It's at a great location, except for the flies, but that's everywhere right now. It's an interesting coffee, this C4 from Rampage. It is a medium roast, so it doesn't have that what some people call a burnt taste that a dark roast has. It has more body, more mouthfeel, if that's the best way to describe it. You feel like you've got coffee in your hand, and you do. But I can feel the caffeine. 1 or 2 mouthfuls, and all of a sudden I can feel my heart starting to race. Is that a good thing? Well, not as long as I don't drink too much of it. It's just a small cup of coffee. It's only about 8 ounces or so. And I think I'll need it to get moving quickly, get all packed up. I still got to wash my dishes. My water's back on over what's left of that little bit of charcoal so that I can have some hot water to do my dishes. Get all packed up and get on the road, or get on the trail, I guess. Some of the trail I hiked on is not even well marked, and that's fine. I don't mean well marked, well defined. There's no trail markings, there's no signs, but you can follow a trail, and every once in a while I'll go down what looks like a trail and it turns out to be a deer trail or a beaver run into a pond. So I might put some flagging tape up just so that I can find my way back the next time. I don't think it's too hard to find my way back here. Anyway, that's all I wanted to do today, was share a little bit with you, share my lunch with you, the fact that I've gone further into the wilderness in search of a place that I can spend a night or two, and share with you the fact that the black flies are out. Yeah, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. But until next time, get out and explore, and take that path less traveled, because it will make all the difference. Bye for now.